Okay, greetings everyone, and welcome to another live stream of Pillars of Eternity. I am your delicious and mythical host, GriffinMuffin. Now, let me put the thing out on the Twitters. Get that so people can see what's happening. Excellent. That's sent out. I'll just contact people I know on Discord. Just thought I'd send that message along to that person. Let me get that stream back up. Cool. Yes. So, yes, welcome to the 11th stream. I thought I would show you guys something, guys and gals, something cool that I ordered for myself. Don't know if... I can't see it directly because it's got delay, but let's see if we can... Nah, it's too much reflection. I have to start the game. But either way, it's a tankard. And it's got the GriffinMuffin logo on the front, but let's start the game up so we have less white glare. Let's give it a go now. There. Can you see it? Oh, there's more glare. Wait for the glare to go away. Actually, can we try and... There we go. Perfect. So it has the emblem of the channel on there and stuff. I got it on Etsy, and it's been pretty good, and I'm gonna anoint it with its first drink for the stream tonight, so... Couldn't decide what I wanted to get from Dan Murphy's. I just got myself some Fat Yak Pale Ale. Usually a go-to that I like. Don't know if I'll have more than one tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Either way, skull. Perfect. Yes, I do like the taste of Fat Yak. Okay. So where were we? We were looking at, we have now entered the Halls of Presence, which is within the Ondrite Temple. So from before, we had the whole thing where we discovered that the army that's going to march through Stalwart comes from this place. We have a kraken that's breaking apart a boat, so that's probably foreshadowing something, I bet. Excuse me. I didn't want people to miss out on what's happening in this bit. I've been doing a bit of behind-the-scenes playing and stuff, and I thought, alright, it looks like we're getting to the real nitty-gritty story, so I didn't want people to miss out on that, so here we go.
Certainly.
Oh yeah, so when I was also playing this before, there was an instance where I got in here, and I decided to not tell him that I'm the Tidebringer, which apparently is some sort of clue-in thing to say, like, oh no, I'm your friend, basically. And I ended up killing like a whole lot of people, and I realized that this was taking far too long, and that's when I remembered, like, oh, can't I call myself the Tidebringer and they won't attack me, if I remember from what the quest that happened before? And yeah, I just said, hello, I'm the Tidebringer. They're like, oh, why didn't you say so? Come on through. That is good. That is good Fat Yak.
You are a guest, I take it? You will find the abbot past the Chamber of the Fallen Moon, behind me.
Alright then.
Smells fresh. That can't be the salt well.
No, probably not. Gift bearer Biasha. The gift bearer holds in her hand a gem of the size of a fist. She draws a curved line in the air over it and then tosses it into the water. As the gem hits the water, it disappears from sight, as though it had been dissolved. What happened to that gem? What gem? The gem you tossed into the pool. I remember no gem. Are you insane? You had a huge gem, you threw it into the water, and now it's gone! You tossed it in, how could you have forgotten? The pool is blessed by Andra, Tidebringer. None of this! Enough of your cryptic nonsense! And you attack them. Brilliant. I don't understand. What does that have to do with anything? Never mind.
He seemed preoccupied.
I expect I would be too in his position.
That's just Kana's voice. Do a quick save just in case things get ugly. Oh. Looks like a beefy fellow. Where the other Ondrites in the Abbey are clad in drab functional garments, this Amoa seems dressed for an occasion. His robe is bright and glossy. His neck and arms are bedecked with jewelry. The symbols of his goddess are crowded into every available space.
Ah, good. The Conclave has elected a Tidebringer after all. I had begun to worry.
He looks back up, noticing your company, and nods.
And they took my advice in providing you an escort. Very good. I am sorry I could not make your journey easier. I am Kauto, the High Abbot.
I came as soon as I could.
And just in time. The May Queen's tide is nearly past its peak. Much longer, and we'd have had to wait another year.
Okay.
The rules of the Rising are quite clear on that, unfortunately. When you are ready, we will begin with the recitation.
The Conclave mentioned something about a reliquary.
Yes, of course. I would not pass my station to you without passing that knowledge as well. It is the Abbey's most sacred chamber. When the Rising is complete, I will take you there myself. In fact, the ritual demands it.
About the recitation.
You seem nervous. The Conclave chose you for a reason. For a devout follower of Andra, the answers will flow naturally to you.
Oh dear.
I remember my own rising. The Conclave sent me on the same exhausting journey. When it came time for the recitation, I could not remember a word, but it all came back in time. Our goddess smiles upon the forgetful. Our library is open to you, as are the grounds outside. There is a beautiful mural out there that you should see, if you haven't yet.
Seems important.
And you may, of course, speak with the gift-bearers here, if it helps your recollection. Take your time, and examine these things before your recitation. I know you will not disappoint when the time comes.
Okay, so I gotta make sure that I have all of the information before I do this recitation. Okay. Let's find that library. The library's gotta be around here somewhere. Is it just over here? That seems like something I shouldn't get into.
Smells like an ocean breeze. We've got to be close.
Oh, good. We can sort out your shit while we're here.
They call out sometimes. Even the guards below think it's strange.
For Andra, most like. They surely long for her embrace.
Ah, yes, brother. Can I get into here? Ah, a library. It has books.
This is the record?
Yes. See that it is cast away with the others.
Ooh, that sounds pretty sus. Oh, there's so many books. Abaddon's Hands, Selected Correspondences of Giftbringer Aiden, the Enigmatic God of Cold. I'll take them all. Is this the book? It's just lockpicks. Don't know what they're doing here. What about Monsters of the Deadfire Archipelago, Nasitak Poetry, The Sea and Her Love, Traditional Ondrite Poem, Ondrite Hymn. The sea beheld her love, shining bright from on high. She bade him come down from his palace in the sky. Her love could not be swayed, so she took a piece into her heart, and all she saw, and all who saw her grief that day, sleep in her bosom still. Interesting. Take that with me. The Orochian calendar, the moons of Aora, tides and moons, a natural historian's account. We have all heard the legends of Andra and Sen Bala. How do you pronounce the umlaut? A. It's ah. Balatha. San Balatha. And the explanation that the goddess's love for the moon causes the tides, and as men and women of science, we know this to be but shadow of truth. Yet there is another myth that we have been quicker to dismiss, and I wonder if it does not merit further examination. Ondrates tell of a smaller moon, Iona Brothia, that the goddess supposedly pulled from the sky in an earlier age. And while such a thing seems impossible for Ioni Brothia still roams the skies above, it is true that explorers in the far reaches have found mineral fragments that do not occur any continent in Aora. Furthermore, naturalists at Adia, Rawatai, and Dealwood have observed the remains of such ocean life many miles inland. Such a thing would only be possible if Aora's oceans had once been larger, or, as I here propose, if a catastrophic flood had once washed over the continents. Okay. While few phenomena could cause a flood of this magnitude, a large body falling into the seas might just do the trick. In these pages, I would explain how some force of nature, if not an amorous goddess, could have pulled a small moon into the Aora millennia ago. Huh. See, the world building, like the history of the gods in this world is absolutely insane. There's so much to it. The gift bearer's pilgrimage. This might be like something we're after. A gift bearer of Andra is traveling along the road when she meets a man in tears holding a scrap of parchment. Why do you weep? asked the gift bearer. I hold here a letter from my wife. I tried to be a good husband, but the letter says I was not, and she has gone to seek the company of a better man. Now this is all that remains of her. Give me the letter, says the gift bearer. For once you have forgotten the letter, your wife can cause you no further pain. The man gives her the letter and finds his tears have dried up. He thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. The gift bearer continues on, contemplating the man's theory, but does not get far before she encounters an old woman in tears holding a string of beads. Why do you weep? asked the gift bearer. Sorry. I hold here a string of beads that counted the years of my daughter's life. Sickness took her while she was still a child, and she was denied the joys of a full life, and I the joys of a mother, but this is all that remains of her. Give me the beads, then, says the gift bearer. For once you have forgotten the beads, your daughter can truly rest. The old woman gives her the beads and finds her grief no longer gnaws at her soul. She thanks the gift bearer and leaves at peace. Thinking of the woman's pain, the gift bearer follows the road until she reaches the sea. In her hand she carries the letter and the beads. They are light in her hands, but heavy upon her heart. And she is crying. She prays to Andra to allow the objects to be forgotten, and cast them into the water, and yet, long after they sink beneath the waves, the gift bearer finds herself still weeping. Merciful Andra, pleased the gift bearer, in your service I have helped people forget their troubles, yet though I pass them on to you, I feel them still as though they were mine. How can this be? The gift bearer listens to the wisdom of the crashing waves until she understands. To feel the troubles of others in your soul is a burden in itself. However, she has no token to give to Andra to bear it away, for the troubles are not hers to forget. I give myself to you then, says the gift bearer, for once I am in your care, no memory may haunt me. And with that, the tide comes forth and embraces the gift bearer, and when it ebbs, she is gone. Oh, that's a bit grim. But, is that what we need? I found a book that tells of the burdens of the gift bearer. The lessons contained within may prove valuable. Let's have a look at those other books we got. I wonder if they're in order. Moons of Aora. Oh, there's Balafa. Calda. There's 2 moons apparently in Aora, so that's that. The Orochian calendar. I don't know why this would help. Doesn't look like it would. Abaddon's hands. Of all the stories of all the gods, no doubt one of the most charming is the legend of Abaddon's hands. In some cultures, Abaddon's hands are tiny, cheerful creatures that hide in the walls and in the cracks between paving stones. In others, they are silent men of stone who roam distant lands, and in all such tales, however, there are Abaddon's constructs built in his image to continue his good work of creating strong and wondrous things in this world. Thus, upon spying a mighty mountain peak, or a row of Udra pillars, or another natural marvel, parents and nursemaids will tell young children that these are the work of Abaddon's hands. Such is the appeal of Abaddon as a deity, as it is through his legend that we recognize familiar shapes in the world. Okay, this is pretty interesting. Thus, when we see a landform that resembles a colonnade, or an arched gate, or a mighty home, we see a hand and a purpose at work that is not unlike our own. And while Abaddon's own identity as a construct is alienating to some, to many of us his crude yet practical shape is comforting. While the other gods take the form of birds, beast, and sea, Abaddon takes the shape of our most common tools and constructs. His debasement in a body of iron elevates our own works and labours, and it offers us a grand hope. For if a god could rebuild himself out of iron, what wonders might Kith create with their own hands? That's pretty good. That's a really good way to look at, how, like, the importance of people and their religions, and how they see the world and how they interpret it through mythopoeic thought, to kind of go, oh, that natural archway, that can't be made by nature, that has to be made by some divine intervention. So they go, oh, that was made by Abaddon, to be like, there's a reason why it's there, because Abaddon made that. There's no way the natural world could have formed like a natural arch or something like that, Or they look at Udra, that kind of come out of the ground like columns, and they're like, there's no way that was naturally formed. So they say Abaddon did it. It's crazy the amount of world building the writers would have done for this, and to have it only appear in just books that you pick up, it's crazy. Yeah. I really admire that about this game. Alright, so we've got that the recitation, I believe. So let's head back. We'll be able to explore after. Actually, before I do, I've almost consumed this. I have. I've almost drank it all. Luckily, I bought 2. I was thinking of buying a 4-pack, but I thought that was a bit much. So I didn't want to drink 2, which is usually what I do. I usually drink only 2 stubbies, and then that's it most nights. Before we begin, I'll just go grab it. I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. So this is what I'm drinking tonight. Fat Yak. I know there's no one on the stream right now, but if if people are watching this after the fact, after the actual live stream itself, you know, they might want to know. Okay, that's the 2 stubbies I have for tonight. Alright. Let's get into this. Oh, quick save again. Just in case some shit goes down. Scoot forward a bit. Let's do this.
Are you prepared now for the recitation?
How are you so certain I am the Tidebringer? It's not a good thing to ask. Might blow my cover. We can begin the recitation.
Very good. We shall commence the rising. First is Anthu. Last is Dianthu. For the tide comes at the end and leaves at the beginning.
Okay.
I am Disaman the Ebb. Who comes this way?
The Ebb. I was never very good at tests. I am Riboleth, the Tide.
A gift bearer comes to Disaman and asks him to bear his burdens away. What token do you offer, gift bearer?
My labors and my faith, for they make me what I am. I give my sorrow of those who mourn. I give myself, for a gift bearer has no other tokens to offer. That sounds good.
The token is received in Andra's name.
Yes.
Tell me of your burdens.
I carry the weight of memories of others. I carry the pain of being separated from my God and long to be reunited. I shoulder the burdens of a long journey spent in solitude. I bear the weight of memories of others.
In Andra's embrace, our burdens are lifted.
Oh, guess I'm fucking it up a bit.
I'm afraid you have misremembered some of the rite. This will not do. I would suggest contemplation of the sacred works kept at the Abbey, inside and out. The recitation is archaic, but it is essential to the rising. If it cannot be completed, the rising will have to wait.
I was never big on doctrine, but there ought to be something around here to help us. Wouldn't be much of an abbey without stacks of old books.
I wait until the old books.
When you are ready, we will begin with the recitation.
Let's try this again.
If you think you are ready. First is Anthu. Last is I am Disaman the Ebb.
I am a gift
Who
bearer.
comes the...
What?
A gift bearer comes to Disaman and asks him to bear his burdens. The token is tell me of your burdens.
Law 10 not met. I carry the pain. Oh, hey Sink, how you going? Now you're here, I'll show you something. I got this. I don't know if you can see it. I got my own custom tankard. Believe it or not, it was made closer to where you live right now. Like, it took like a month and a half to get here. It came from the Ukraine. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Okay, so I carry the pain. I think it's this one. What?
In Andra, I'm afraid I would the recitation is archaic, but it is essential to the rising. If it cannot be completed, if you think you are first is I am Disaman the Ebb.
I am the Tidebringer. What?
A gift bearer comes to Disaman and asks him to bear his burdens away. What token do you offer, gift bearer?
I give the sorrow of those who mourn.
The token is tell me of your burdens. In on I would the recitation is archaic.
Okay. Something is happening here. I don't know what is happening. This is bullshit. I read the thing.
Oh?
Is it another book I have to read? Let's get back over there. So now we're doing a bit where we have to, like, go through the whole lore and, get something that allows us You may enter Tidebringer. Is it here?
Now here's something.
Oh. Like a living prison, thick arms of coral have grown around an assortment of old knickknacks and stuff. So that's where people like throw their stuff away.
It's here. The salt well.
Oh, we're here. This is for Manaha's quest. So does Manaha. She stands rooted in place, staring at it.
You know, I thought it'd be bigger.
What are you waiting for?
You know how when you've been thinking about something so long, you're worried that when you finally get it, it won't be what you expected?
So I don't know if you know, but apparently Manaha's quest is like she's awakened as well. And she wants to forget the memory that she has of... Because apparently her memory is... Her past life, she was a Deerin commander. And apparently she slaughtered like a whole village. And she just wants that memory gone. Which is like, yeah, fair enough. So we've taken her to the salt well so that she can forget.
I mean, for all we know, that thing's just filled with leeches.
You're stalling.
Don't remind me.
Okay. You were never liable for the massacre you remember. Let go of your guilt. Your memory of the massacre has shaped you. Discarding it may change you more than you intend. No. Memory is a penance for our misdeeds. You have no right to forget the massacre. No. What if your memory of the massacre has prevented you from committing a similar crime? Maybe. Your suffering helps no one. Forget the massacre so you can have peace. Well, it's pretty hard to forget. It seems to be something that bothers her quite a bit, so it seems pretty cruel to say that. The problem has never been your memory. It's part of the soul that led you to the massacre those people. It's a part of your soul that led you to massacre those people. That's it. That would be bad to say. Do it or don't, but make up your mind. That seems like something Jazera would say. That my character would say. Your memory... I like you were never liable for the massacre you remember. Let go of your guilt. But I think this is more the one that kind of speaks to me a bit.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Here goes.
Here we go.
Oh, that's cold!
She convulses with a sudden shiver, rattling her jewelry. She descends the steps until she's staying in the water up to her neck. Hey, what year is it? Do you feel anything?
I think I'm going numb, actually. This is the right pool, isn't it?
Maybe you need to get your head in the water too. She gives you a wry, sidelong look. And she takes a deep breath and submerges. A minute ticks by to Manaha keeps herself still beneath the water. At last, she breaks the surface, wiping the water from her eyes and shaking it from her head.
Hey, gift bearer or not, don't think I won't pull you in here too.
Wait, you said gift bearers come here. Maybe you have to leave something behind. Her eyes go wide and she snaps her fingers.
I've got it!
She digs through her pack and produces a thick bundle of cloth bound with leather. It's the same bundle you glimpsed earlier. She snaps the leather cords and unrolls the cloth, revealing a wine bottle.
Took this from the Marchezo cellar the night I awakened. Been saving it for a special occasion.
Manaha... Oh, she... Okay. Say nothing. Oh dear. Manahe drops the rest of the broken bottle into the pool, where it spirals into the depths. Meanwhile, the wine has formed a roiling, bloody cloud in the water. It spreads in long, swirling tendrils. The surface of the pool ripples, and Manaha paddles at the spreading cloud. Crimson tentacles erupt from it, writhing and reaching. Manaha grasps at as one wraps around her arm.
Stand back!
Grab Manaha. Whoa. Alof grabs your arm and pulls you back before you fall in too. Manaha disappears into the pool. You can't see anything through the crimson murk. except the blossoming cloud of wine. The water looks perfectly still again. The seconds crawl by.
Allow me to retrieve her. I will fight this wine tentacle monster.
I love you, Zal. At last, bubbles break the surface. Are you alright? She thinks about it for a moment. She nods. Manahe climbs up from the steps out of the salt well. As she does, the reddish colour dissipates from the water, leaving only the glassy clear surface and the unfathomable depths below. What do you remember? She squints, thinking. Water pools at her feet.
I remember running, but I don't remember what chased me. And I remember fear, but I don't remember what scared me. And I gave something up, but I don't remember why.
And then it worked. She tilts her head to one side and wiggles a finger in her ear until a spurt of water streams out.
I'll take your word for it.
Something drips onto the floor. She holds her right arm up and looks at the trickle of blood running from a cut on her hand. She takes the folded cloth, the one she wrapped the wine bottle in, from the floor and stanches the bleeding. Manaha was granted clean conscience. She jerks her head toward the exit. Alright, I think we're done. We've done her quest. But what does clean conscience do? Is she max level? Oh, no. Probably just need to level her up. Clean conscience. She just has more dexterity. That's cool. Let's put Ed into it. So level up Manahe. See? So from last time, Sync, I gave her the skull. It's still terrifying. I can't do anything here. Next. Crap. Savage attack, maybe? Yeah, it goes well with her earrings, definitely. The whole getup suits this. The whole skull thing looks way better on her. 2-weapon style? Ooh, alright. That sounds good.
Yes. I shall make it so. It's done.
Alright. So, seems we have more reading to do. I got all the books. I don't know what to do now. Let's go back. The Moons of Aora. So we've done that. The Orochian calendar. There's nothing mentioning something that... No, that's not here either. Abaddon's Hands, we read that one. Seeing Her Love. The enigmatic god of cold. No, it doesn't seem like the thing we're after. Moon, the accounts of the moon. And I can talk to these guys.
Yes.
There has to be something else in this area. I'll have a look around. Oh, the mural. The mural. Yeah, he mentioned there's a mural nearby that we need to check out. I forgot about that. How's your day been, Sync? You been alright? Ice is built up on every space between the bones of the skeletal hand, forming a slippery incline into the jagged cliffs below.
I can get it to spill its secrets. It's done.
Ooh. The structure behind this giant ribcage appears to have built around it. We're gonna find this mural. Oh, here it is. A mural is rendered on the face of the rock wall. 4 panels seem to be arranged as some kind of story. Inspect the mural. Oh, you drawing? What sort of stuff do you draw? 4 panels seem to be arranged as a story of some kind. First panel, Anthu, the end. So that's what he was talking about before. So this was actually more pertinent than that other crap I read. Anthu, the end. So that's the... Yeah, that's like when the tide rolls in or some shit. Saman, the flood. Oh no, alright. Okay. Disaman, the ebb. Dianthu, the beginning. Okay, so it's like talking about kind of this, kind of a cycle sort of thing. Okay. Alright. I wonder if this will work now. Oh, cool. Do you have like a DeviantArt or anything? Or what's the most popular one? ArtStation, is it? Yeah, October seems to be a very popular month for doing this sort of thing of like challenges and stuff like that. I don't know why. I think it's just like maybe it's just the good timing of... Wait, where's my character? Aloth? You're right there? Let's get Aloth back over here. Ah, he do it on Insta. Okay. Okay. See if this actually will save, because now I have all the information. Let's do it.
Are you prepared now for the recitation?
I'm more prepared. I'll say that much.
If you think you are ready.
Yep.
First is Anthu. Last is Dianthu.
That's right.
For the tide comes at the end and leaves at the beginning.
Damn straight.
I am Disaman the Ebb. Who comes this way?
Saman the flood.
Blessed be Saman, that washes over the shore and brings the end. Blessed be Disaman, that returns to the sea and leaves behind the beginning. A gift-bearer comes to Disaman and asks him to bear his burdens away. What token do you offer, gift-bearer?
Nothing's popped up. I give my labors and my faith, for they make me what I am. For fuck's sake, that's wrong?
The token is received in Andra's name.
Ugh, it's a copper coin. Where did the copper coin thing come from?
Tell me of your burdens.
None of these are right.
In Andra's... I'm afraid... Think on... The recitation is archaic, but it is... The Conclave chose you. I remember my own right, but it all came back in time. Our goddess smiles upon the forget. I know you will not disappoint when the time comes. Yes, of course. When the rising is complete, I will take you there myself. I remember my own right, but it all came back in time. Do not be afraid to fail, but do take care in your work. Even my patience has limits.
Oh dear. Fuck, what am I supposed to do? I've gone to the library, I visited the mural, now what?
Certainly.
I'll just explore around, see if I find something else.
I can get it to spill its secrets.
I hope they don't get angry at me. What's this?
Now here's something.
Oh, hello. What the hell? I phased through that object.
The High Abbot imparted to me that I wasn't alone, that he has nightmares sometimes as well.
Truly?
Oh, it surprised me to hear it. He has such a peaceful manner.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like because of Inktober and stuff, a lot of people got inspired and like go, oh.
Even with your labors, your presence
we'll
of
do this
mind
and
never
that.
falters. I don't know how you do it.
Perhaps your thoughts would swim deeper if your tongue didn't come out for air so often, dear brother.
Oh, snap. Seriously. I've explored everything. Oh, okay, so she gave me a little bit more information. I spoke to a gift bearer who imparted to me that all things forgotten belong to Andra, and that all things that belong to Andra are forgotten. Well, that's kind of a tautology, but anyway. Oh, mermaid. Okay. So I got, so there's 3 bits of the recitation that I need to do. So you got like the Saman, which is the mural, the copper coin thing. Let's see if I can do it now. Because now she gave me that other bit of information about how everything is forgotten once Andra has it. Let's give this a crack.
Are you prepared now for the recitation?
Let's do it.
If you think you are ready. First is Anthu.
Yeah.
I am Saman the Ebb.
I am
Who
Saman the
comes
Flood.
this? Blessed be Saman. A gift bearer comes to Saman
I get
and
a
asks him
single
to bear
copper
his.
piece.
The token is received in
Ah, so
Andra's
I know.
name. Tell me of your burdens.
Here we go. I have none, for all that belongs to Andra is forgotten.
In Andra's embrace, our burdens are lifted. Think on the gift bearer's pilgrimage. I believe we have the text somewhere in our library, if it is useful to you. The recitation is archaic, but it...
So it is that book. Gift Bearer's Pilgrimage. I read it though. Hey, where is it? Oh my god, where's the book? Oh, puppy. Abaddon's hand, seeing her love, the animated god of cold. Oh my god, where's the book? Oh no. Where is it? No. Oh. Ah. Is it in my inventory? Is that it there? The Book of the Hunt. That's not it. Quests? It is. It's the quest. In your service, I help people forget their troubles, yet I pass them on to you. I feel them as though they were mine. How can this be? However, she has no token to give to Andra to bear it away, for the troubles are not hers to forget. I give you myself then. It's you sacrificed yourself for Andra.
Are you prepared now for the recitation?
Let's try it.
If you think you are ready.
I'm not really, but let's try it.
First is Anthu. I am Disaman the Ebb.
Yes.
Blessed be Saman. A gift bearer comes to Disaman and asks him to bear his burdens away.
I give myself.
The token is
Yes.
received in Andra's name.
Okay.
Tell me of your burdens.
Okay. I have none, for all that belongs to Andra is forgotten.
In Andra's embrace, our burdens are lifted.
Yes. I have completed the recitation. Kaito appears pleased. He nods. Mane sighs with relief.
The Tidebringer shows herself worthy of her charge. Your purpose here, Tidebringer, is to perform the ceremony of the Rising. It is the transition of one phase of service to the next. On the level beneath us in the Halls of Silence, our low-tide brothers and sisters have lived for many years, sealed by their own will. It is time for them to be relieved of service, and for the high-tide brothers and sisters here to take their place.
Interesting.
In the halls below, you will find a relic, Andra's witness, and a spurgulum for dispensing holy water, but also something more.
Oh, yeah?
It is set into a device it operates atop a flight of steps. The device will flood the halls of silence. This is the Rising.
Won't the people down there drown?
It is the will of Andra. Every monk assigned to the abbey understands and accepts this.
What the fuck? You serious? He smooths the back of his thick stalks of hair with one hand. A grey strand sticks to his palm. He frowns at it, then looks back up and continues.
The monks here have all served as gift bearers. We bear away people's most painful memories, and always a part of them remains with us.
He's right about that much.
In the halls of silence, memory itself fragments until it is no more. The halls are a reprieve from a gift-bearer's burden. In the end, the halls take all memory, but the process takes a toll, as you might imagine.
Yeah, I'd imagine it would take a toll when you kill a bunch of people.
After many years, when the process is complete, the Rising is performed, to give final peace to those who dwell there. This is your charge.
Dying immediately seems preferable to losing all memory in the halls of silence only to drown later.
It goes beyond that. It is about duty as well.
It's always about fucking duty or honor.
The Abbey is one of Andra's most guarded secrets. Death is no guarantee our knowledge will fade safely. It is necessary that the memories of this place be washed away. We do this in Andra's service.
Oh, it's like, we're not a secret society, we're just a society of secrets. Such bullshit. What do I do when the Rising is complete?
The high tide is to replace the low, and stand vigil in the halls of silence until the next Rising.
So this is all pretty alarming. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with what I have to do. I mean, you have a bunch of people who've been serving this god, and then at the end of it, they're like, by the way, thanks for your service. We're gonna drown you alive now. And then, like, that's it. Like, man, religions are weird.
When you have completed the Rising, bring Andra's witness to me here. I will show you the last of what you need to know.
Once I have Andra's witness, what do I do with it?
The device it operates is a simple valve mechanism. It will be clear to you when you see it.
I will return once the Rising is complete.
To reach your destination, you will need to know the sign of the tide, which is kept only by the High Abbot. It's said that it is the first knowledge lost when the Abbot joins the low tide in the halls of silence.
I will give you the sign of the low tide.
Watch carefully.
Kato contorts the fingers of the right hand into a particular curl shape. This is the super secret symbol to get into the lower floors. Oh, like no, like Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, now I perfectly understand the super secret hand signal to get below into the lower depths of your temple.
I trust you will perform your duty, Tidebringer.
I guess so. I'm not really happy about doing this, but... I wonder if I can save everyone. But then again, at the end of the day, like, I'm not sure if this is really my place to kind of try and change everything that's happening. Next. Whoa! Reaping Knives. Summons Reaping Knives. 40... What do they do? Ooh. They're pretty... Oh, speed fast. There we are. Yeah. Excuse me. By linking his or her mind with nearby allies, the caster creates a series of defensive links between them. All allies in the mind web use the best defense of anyone in the web. Doesn't sound too good. Better off doing something like Mind Wave, or something that has a really high cast time. Speed, fast, average, amplified thrust. I need to get one that's a bit lower, I reckon. Something that costs less to use. I have all these high-end ones, but I need something to just kind of use in the meantime. I don't think that. Maybe Mind Wave, because that does a bit of amount of damage, but it only makes them prone for 4 seconds. So I'm thinking something like this, but it doesn't do that much damage. Hobbled and weakened, no, it's not that great. Going between, Wild Leech. Wild Leech sounds alright. But Mind Wave is still... It's still not a lot of damage. It's raw damage, which is okay, but it's still not that great. Thinking Wild Leech. I have to get rid of that. Because it steals 10 points from a random attribute for 20 seconds. 20 seconds is a decent amount of time. So I'll do that. Man, she's a level 15 Cypher. It's pretty crazy. Alright, Alright. So I guess I can head back here now.
Certainly.
I'll save. Because I do want to come back here and record some of this stuff. Because I want to save it for the breakdown. Did the stupid recitation. Oh, here we are. What's in here? Run. We lived. It's all good. Journal of the High Abbot. This volume appears to serve many functions. There are notes in it detailing schedules and routines of the Abbey. There are favourite passages from Ondrite's text, annotated with personal insights. There are also a description of dreams and purely symbolic, but one entry is of interest. It had been long since I dreamt of my rising, yet now, with another rising soon upon us, there is the 5th time in a week. This is the 5th time in a week. Perhaps channeled here, I can put it to rest. I am walking through the halls of silence. I feel the eyes from all sides, vengeful and angry. I arrange the panels and curl my hands into the sign of the tide, the right as the wave, the left tracing the crescent moon. Okay, so this is here just in case you're not a tide bringer, and you're like, oh, how the hell do I do this thing? The way opens to me. So it reveals that. And it says everything that you need to know that wouldn't have been done if you were just fucking massacred your way through here. So the first time I did this, I would have had to find this journal before I can continue with the rest of the quest. But now that I walked up to a guard here and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I am the tide bringer. They're like, oh, why don't you say so? Come on through. But this is here just in case the player doesn't do that. The call for help. I'll take that. I found a record of recurring dream. It showed it performing a strange sign in front of 4 panels, then retrieving a rod-like relic from a nearby device, using it to pass through the doorway into a walled enclosure somewhere outside the abbey. Strange sign before 4 panels. It's probably that mural. Ooh. Okay, more of that stuff. Another Moons of Aora book. Is it the Moons? No good. Is that the reliquary? The Abbot's Quarters. So I haven't even found the book yet. I haven't even found the reliquary yet. Or is that it? Oh, whoops, I closed the door. Alright, let's head on through. I feel like we should go to the mural and see if we can do something there. Do you have any of your work like posted on Twitter or anything recently? Sync? I tell you what, I'm a bit of a lightweight. 2 stubbies of this, and I'm already feeling it. Which is 100% malt. That's probably why I like the taste of it. Inspect the mural. Oh, so I can't do it there. Yeah. Insta's fine, yeah. I don't use Instagram too much, but I'll have a look. Because of... Yeah. Ow. That hurt. Poked my elbow too much. Let's see what him has messaged. Yeah, whatever. Alright. So the 4-panel thing is not what I thought it was. It is the reliquary. The Halls of Silence is there. Okay. I do need to... What about... I do have to Google something quickly. See, I'm a bit concerned because I haven't been able to do Zawa's quest. And I'm wondering where that where that quest starts. Secrets of the Takan. Triggering the quest might be a little unorthodox, as it can happen only once. Once the White Patch 2 starts, you need to talk to Zawa and exhaust all his dialogue options again, especially ones concerning the fate of the Takan. Then you either need to rest, change locations, or start the game. Oh, I need to do that. Alright, cool. We need to head back into the game and do that then, because... Yes. Need to talk to Zawa for a little bit.
What do you need of Zawa? I would gladly cast light upon them. We are the warriors of the Takan. Nobles, peasants, it does not matter. We are souls caged in flesh, nothing more. But it is one thing to say it, another to know it. So we train until we know it, or until we meet our ends. I give this answer because it is what you wanted, but the Nalpazga would say different. They would say that we are nothing at all.
So I'm just gonna breeze through all of this just to make sure I can...
Look, every practice of the
Here we
Nalpazga
go.
is a reminder to stop stumbling, to know the perfection. Our practices are suited to our enemies, the things we hold to in fear of their opposites. Things like pleasure and vanity, even our own lives.
How do you counter pleasure?
We embrace discomfort. I knew a Nalpazga, Tameen, who slept on sharp boulders and kept his arm raised above his head for 2 years.
For 2 years?
The arm withered. One day it fell limp and became useless. But always it reminded him that pleasure and pain did not hold sway over his soul, and he became strong. Vanity is my favorite. You have seen some of it. You must become loathsome, disgusting. The Takan are used to our shit, but Deerwood has been far more enjoyable. A traveling noble offered his friendship to me as we crossed paths on the road. I blew my nose into his silken shirt sleeves, apologized, then vomited on his wife's gown when she expressed forgiveness. I was even beaten for it without having to ask. Work well done is truly its own reward. Fear of death is our enemy, so we bury ourselves with our dead. We live on the carrion and meditate for days, even as the worms burrow into our flesh.
Oh dear. He curls his fingers like worms and presses them into his forearm in the illustration, applying far more pressure than is necessary to make the point.
When I completed my trial, my master had me placed at the bottom of a mass grave to make sure his point was clear.
Jesus.
In time, you come to know death. You accept its beauty and its purpose. You see its dark wisps, and the sight is pleasing in its way.
Hey, the text is not there. Huh. Alright then.
So it is with all our enemies.
Let me ask you something else. Let me ask you something else about your beliefs. So I'm going to breeze through again until I find something, because apparently the quest only triggers if you exhaust all the dialogue.
Perfection. Look around. Rarely every practice of the Nalpa.
Actually.
Perfect. Look at rare every practice. You think they imagine this. It is for us to learn. Look at rare every practice.
Okay, so we've exhausted
You would
that.
ask much of one who knows little. When I was brought in then the Ishipil master, he never gave me another lesson. A year later, he was dead of old age. They named me chieftain, anyway.
Yeah, I do remember that with Zawa, that he's actually a chieftain.
I thought so as well. I tried everything. Patience, rage, cleverness, acceptance. Not yet, he would say. Not yet.
Someone else must have been able to teach you.
At any time, 2 people know the secret of becoming the Anitle, the chieftain and the master of the Nalpazga. When Ishipilo died, the knowledge was lost to us forever.
It's always so interesting when it comes to tribal cultures and about how, you know, there's a village elder of some kind or some sort of sage in the community, and it's really imperative that the village elder or the sage has to pass on all that information verbally through lectures, like from actual person to person relay of information, otherwise the information is lost forever. Unless they actually write it all down and actually are able to have like a material text to hand over to their apprentices or their or students learning under them. it makes you think a lot about, like, early civilizations. Like, I always think about stuff like the Celts and stuff. They had from what evidence they've been able to find, like, they did have a very rich culture. They even were able to discover that they had two variations of cultures throughout their timeline. I actually have it. I won't link it or anything. Don't worry. But I think I have it saved in my. I have it saved in my tabs. So, like, throughout life, they experienced two distinct cultures. They had the Latin culture and the Hallstatt culture. They believe the Hallstatt culture was, earlier on, and they were more focused with war. They found that places in the Celtic region, in Gaul, for instance, they would have more weapons and stuff. But then they could actually determine certain phases when they shifted over to Latin culture, because they contain more stuff that was, like camphors for wine, more gold, more exotic sort of jewelry and stuff that was kept in, like, mass graves and in the mass hoards and stuff. And it's just like, it would have been so interesting to find out if they actually kept texts of, like, what happened. Why did their culture shift like that? But if you don't pass it on, that's it. It just goes. It's pretty fascinating. All right, so before that tangent, so his chieftain died and all the knowledge was lost. You seem to have managed in spite of that.
Have I?
Yes. Yes, I think you have.
You would ask much of one who knows little.
What is it that your master never taught you?
When I was brought in then Ishipilo, Master,
yep.
I said, is it time for me to learn to be the Anitle? Not yet, he said. And that was all. You would ask much of one who knows little.
Okay, so this is a new option. What happened after you became chieftain?
Word of Ishipilo's death spread. Our enemies saw the opportunity. The Ketchmodel chieftain came with gifts to honor my rule. But his real purpose was to look me in the eye, to know if Zawa might be beaten. I looked at him, and I imagined that I was the Anitle, free of all the worldly snares, that my master had taught me everything. When he turned to leave, I saw he wore a secret smile, and I knew I had failed. 3 days later, they attacked. They were many times greater than our numbers. They had been trying to conquer us for generations, and the Takan chieftain had always sent them running. The power of the Anitle. In my heart, I knew we would lose, and it would be because I was not the Anitle.
What did you do?
What we had always done. I gathered my Nalpazga warriors and led a charge into the belly of their army.
Not the best move.
The Nalpazga believed Zawa was the Anitle, and it gave them strength. For their sakes, for Takan, I believed it too. My mind found a place it had never reached before. I could see my enemies' moves before they made them. I could see my own actions in front of me, the path to victory. I did as I saw, and the Ketchmodel fell in heaps.
Oh.
And then the Ketchmodel chieftain came to face me, and he knew Zawa was not the Anitle. When I saw him, I knew it too. I hesitated. My enemies fell upon me. One by one, the Nalpazga were defeated, and Takan was conquered.
Oh, shit. I didn't know this. Like, I read the wiki and everything. Oh. Zawa takes a slow breath.
Of the men, they made slaves. Of the women, they made wives.
Oh. Fuck.
Their way is to absorb the conquered. Make them forget themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty standard sort of practice. If Catch Model defeated you, how did you survive?
They take you alive if you are a chieftain. They break your body and your spirit. Then they show you to their people and to yours, broken. After that, they cut off your head so that they may drink your soul from it.
Oh. That's actually, speaking of, we were talking about Celtic stuff. In Celtic culture, they believe that the soul was housed in the head. And they actually believe that the pituitary gland was like the seat of the soul. So they, that's why in a lot of, Hallstatt culture, you find a lot of severed heads all thrown into a mass grave. Because they believe that, if you took the head of your enemy, like you decapitated them and you like kept it with you, or you threw it all into a grave, it was like you kind of kept their soul. So I think for countless hundreds of years, humans have always associated the power of the skull and the head to represent something to do with life and souls and stuff. Yeah, so it makes sense that this would be put into this context for this culture here, which is Ishimiddle, I believe, which I think is north of where we are in the setting. But you got out of it.
Oh no, they did all of those things to me.
Oh, that's no good.
They flayed me until my screams became whispers, until I no longer knew who I was, and my only hope was to die soon. But they didn't stop, and that was their mistake. In my lowest moment, I released my grip on many worldly things I had come to embrace since my master's death. The pain made the world clear again. They brought me out to be executed, not knowing any better. They swung the machete down upon my neck, but it would not cleave.
What?
Each hack of the knife brought great pain, and the pain showed me glimpses of pure truth. For a moment at a time, I was the Anitle. I broke my bonds by seeing beyond them. I slew my executioner by knowing I would slay him.
Were you able to free your people after that? All at once, Zawa seems to deflate.
No. When the pain faded, so did my enlightenment. But it was enough to make my escape. I swore to return when my soul was ready to defeat the Quetzalcoatl. When I had rediscovered my master's lost secrets.
You said you swore to return to liberate your people. Did you ever free them?
No.
Shit.
I searched my empty homeland for any trace of Ishipilo's knowledge, but I knew he had left none. It would have been too dangerous. When that failed, I began searching the land to see if knowledge of the Anitle had come from abroad. I visited temples and monasteries. All the while, Zawa was trying to find the answer within himself as well. Meditation, Malkachoa, 1,000 practices he had learned as Nalpazga, or dreamed on his own. He becomes nearer to the Anitle every day, but his soul is not free. He is not the Anitle.
Why not try to free them anyway if you're close?
The final step is the difference between invincibility and certain failure. Quetzalcoatl has only grown over time, swallowed all its rivals. It would take no less than the Anitle to free and protect the Takan now.
What if you die without rediscovering your master's knowledge?
Then the Takan will be no worse off than they are now. But they do deserve better.
Is there any way I can help? Perhaps there is. In my journey to Stoward, I passed through a place that put my soul on edge. I don't know what it was about the place, but I had intended to return there after I had fulfilled my pledge to Starwood's mayor. The answers I search now are of the soul, and such resonances should not be ignored. I believe the locals call it Whitestone Hollow. It lies east of Stalwart. I want to ask you about something else.
You would ask much of one who knows little.
So I think we got the quest there. You curse a lot for a monk. Is that something that Alpaz could teach?
Words are nothing but sounds. They can be weapons against us if we forget that. Using curse words often takes away their power over us.
Yes. I totally believe that. That's awesome. Like, I hate how people take away words like cunt and fuck and stuff. You know, like, there are very powerful words, and like, you know, if people are taught that you can't say that word, it gives it power, and that power is then given to other people for them to use it against you, you know? But if you are allowed to say it, you know, it just gives you that kind of power to be like, this is my word now, you know? I totally believe that. I vibe with you, Zawa, so much.
They're also a lot of fun to say.
That too. Alright, let's keep moving. Yeah, here we go. Secrets of the Takan. So, I don't know. I'm going to start heading there now, because I want this quest done because it's Zawa. But if you want me to continue with the main quest, let me know in the meantime, and I'll just turn my ass around. Oh, cool. Oh, wait, no, you were agreeing to what I said before. No worries. Yeah, I'm going to head over there now. Because, one thing I really want to do with this playthrough is to make sure, like... Yeah, exactly right. Shouldn't be censored. Have you looked into, what happened with, George Carlin? So George, I don't know if you know who George Carlin is. He's a American comedian who did a lot of, like, he does a lot of really, really full-on sort of stand-up stuff. And there was a thing that happened with him where he did a bit on a stand-up bit where he talks about, like, the 7 words you cannot say on radio or TV. And it's like shit, piss, cunt, fuck, and 2 others, right? It's a whole bit he does. And there was a radio station that played that bit that wasn't... there's a bit that played that bit, and the ACCC in America was like, you can't put that on air and everything. They're like, why not? And like, because it contains these words. And he's like, yeah, but where it entered this gray zone where, like, it's like, well, we can actually put this on air. You have no, jurisdiction over us. And that brought it to court. And then it caused this whole, they went to the Supreme Court and everything, and it was actually, like, a big deal in the States. And, like, George Carlin always, like, remarks on it, how, like, oh man, I changed the laws of the United States of America all because I was just talking about swear words. I highly recommend you look up some George Carlin. There's plenty of it online on YouTube. It depends on the sort of comedy you're into. It's very upfront, very polemic. I don't say he's political. He's very much just like, he treats everyone as fertile ground to, make fun of. Oh, hello. But yeah, look it up. What's happening here?
There is a spirit lion there, just ahead. Can you see it, Watcher?
No, I can't see a spirit lion, Zawa. Maybe you're tripping.
The lion was the symbol of my master, Ishipilo. This is a sign.
Okay.
Has he come here at last to teach me what he would not in life? To be the Anitle?
I actually did miss that before. What's the Anitle?
This is an Alpazka warrior who has ascended from the snares of the material world.
That's it.
He cannot be beaten. It was Ishipilo's greatest secret. Even on his dying day, he refused to pass it on to me. If he had taught me, I would have been able to protect the Takan. We would never have been conquered.
I thought Ketchmodel had defeated you. Isn't this too late? No, I wouldn't say that. What do you propose we do?
I have some herbs prepared, malkachoa, plus some things I've been saving. We should eat them so we can meet with the lion in its world.
Yes, I am totally down for a sesh.
It would be my honor if you would come with me on this journey. A watcher may see things that I cannot.
Let's do this. Zawa looks to the rest of the party.
That goes for everyone. I would welcome the presence of friends.
Excellent.
Maybe I could just inhale a few of the spores.
Excellent. Aloth is getting stoned.
I can't believe you've been holding out on me this long. There are simpler ways to understand the world, monk. A single stroke of my staff would do, but very well.
Durance is getting in on it as well.
No better friend than one sharing good drugs.
Yes, this is awesome.
Are you ready?
Yes, let's begin. Zawa distributes this mix of herbs, keeping a generous amount for himself. Well, that's fine. You're allowed to bogart it if you want. The plants give off a variety of strong, conflicting odors, some sweet, some acrid, and at least one that induces immediate sneezing. Their appearances are largely unfamiliar to you. You drop a handful of the mixture into your mouth and chew. The taste is dull and earthy at first, but within moments of chewing it becomes powerfully sour and sweet like nectar, and then it begins to take on a new character that's unlike anything you've ever eaten before. Oh, that sounds familiar. Your vision swims, and you see the world in a different, more vibrant spectrum. Whoa! That's pretty fast-acting shit! Zawa takes one look at your expression and laughs.
You are ready.
Oh, brilliant. We're tripping balls. I'm so sad that Novum isn't here to see this. Alright. Tripping balls. Excellent. I probably will record this bit. I don't know. It might be salvia, but it's just a whole. It could be any of the hallucinogenics, really. The whole description of like, oh, it tastes dull and this, and then it tastes kind of weird. That reminds me of magic mushrooms. So it's probably something to do with that. And he mentions he eats a lot of malkachoa, and malkachoa is deer cap, or snow cap, sorry. So it's probably something to do with that. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Do not let the lion escape us.
Don't let the lion escape us. Look, you see all the mushrooms around here.
No. Stay focused, Zawa.
Is that flower singing? The shrooms are everywhere, yeah. Oh, hello. A lone spirit hovers back and forth, agitated, muttering. I can learn from them. From their mistakes, their failures have revealed the path to me. I am very close. The spirit points to a scattered collection of maimed and contorted bodies distributed around like around a stone pedestal. Something odd registers in your mind about the corpses, and then the realization dawns. They all appear to belong to the same person. Okay.
I wouldn't be so sure.
What are you getting close to?
On that pedestal you see before you, I placed a gem for safekeeping. You have never seen such a perfect gem.
Okay.
I regretted leaving it behind almost immediately. It has been my every waking thought ever since.
Do you want me to get it?
It is all I have left of something that was important to me.
Okay.
Very important, by the look of it.
I might be able to get it for you. The spirit seems to consider this wisps of essence dart in and out of its shape like bolts of electricity.
That would be most welcome.
I will do this for you, spirit. Retrieve the spirit's gem.
What is this that so many have died to approach it?
Oh dear. Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
I will walk unseen.
Oh, there's so many traps.
Oh. I don't suppose we could rest a spell.
Okay. That is terrifying. Can you rest while you're tripping? Okay. Don't worry. We rested. And we're still tripping balls. So that's good. The stuff lasted 8 hours. That's amazing. I'll get Zala to move through the flame. But
I'm here.
let's get these people to move back.
Need something?
Again!
Zawa is ready.
Okay, Zala, take one for the team. Get. Alright. Cool.
Oh? Silence surrounds me.
Even like stealthing past it doesn't do anything.
Lead the way.
So I just have to try and run around it.
Aye?
Aloth! Serious?
Lead the way.
Aloth, you're killing me, man. Why are you setting off all the traps?
Uh-huh.
Aloth, you are useless.
Need something?
See? Be like Durance. Durance doesn't set off...
Poison.
Okay, he did set off the trap.
Yeah?
How about you, Haravius? Alright, cool.
Hmm?
We got past all that. Come on, don't. Oh, no.
Poison.
Why are you all dying? Stop dying. Why? Oh, dear.
Someone check on Aloth!
Quick, heal. Fucking get all the healing off. Jesus Christ, look at all this. I'm getting fucking owned.
Moe Ixana.
Okay. We survived that at least.
Yes.
Sentimental gem. This gem appears at first glance to be strikingly beautiful, yet upon further examination there seems to be nothing special about it. Well, I'm glad I'm risking my fucking neck over this thing. Oh. Okay. I feel like I'm gonna die if I run through this again. Let's do it!
Certainly.
Oh, get. We did it, team.
Were you able to retrieve the gem?
Yes, I have it here. The spirit pulses excitedly from light and warmth, with light and warmth.
This is a great relief. Give it here.
The spirit extends claw-like translucent hands towards you, cupped together, and when you let go of the gem, it passes through the spirit's hands and lands on the ground.
Ah, clumsy. No need to worry, I've got it now.
The spirit crouches to pick up the gem. It scoops up the gem, but cannot make contact with it. It does so over and over.
This is a snare my master never told me of. How great, how subtle the hold of the past upon us.
Yeah, I guess it does communicate that. Pretty deep, Zawa. Pretty deep. Oh. An old shaman hunches over a translucent table. Paint is streaked on either side of her eyes like flames. She casts an assortment of strange objects onto the table. A finger bone, a Stelgar tooth, a turtle shell, and a few stones painted with symbols. She studies them over and over with disbelieving eyes. At last, she looks up.
There is no mistake. The portents do not lie. Zawa, you will be our chieftain. You will succeed Ishapilo and lead us to victory over the Ketchmata. I will tell Ishapilo that he must accept you. The path must be cleared for your reign.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to be attacked by a whole bunch of shit? Righto. Seems fair. Seems fair. My god, I haven't even fought... What's this like? Is this like the first fight I've actually been in for this entire stream? I think so. It feels like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I also need to cast Betrayal.
Do you mind?
Oh dear. Durance, why can't I help you? Oh, you're confused? Are you serious? Did the heal?
Need some.
You're confused as well. Oh my god.
Oh, almost.
He's confused as well.
Let me try again. That's it.
Good, I have control over you now. Let's do disintegration on this thing. We're all confused. What can make me not confused? Suppress affliction. So that's why I'm not doing too well. Novum's not reminding me to do suppress affliction. It just missed. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, still breathing heavily, Zawa appears deep in thought. He notices your glance.
The shaman's vision always stayed with me. After my master had passed, even after the Takan were conquered, I thought of what the shaman had said and held on to hope. But I wonder if it did not also make me proud and foolhardy. If I ignored my own defeat because I did not believe it possible.
The Takan aren't defeated yet. You're still here. A source of hope is never a bad thing.
I wonder what my path would have been without it. Would I have found purpose if she had not assured me of victory?
Yes.
Let's level up Aloth before we continue. Let's keep that there. Oh, here we go. Oh wow, we're getting into the serious spells. The Wall of Many Colors. What's this? Red! Orange! Green! Yellow! Summons a scintillating wall of varied colors that inflicts varied damage and afflictions on enemies that pass through it. That does seem pretty good. Kalakov's Freezing Rake. The wizard invokes the sigil of the famed Valian wizard Minoletta. When he or she is struck in melee, the sigil retaliates with pierce damage. Nah. What's this one do? A ghostly skeletal hand rakes across the area, doing freeze damage to enemies in the area, leaving them weakened and hobbled. That is a massive amount of freeze damage. To anyone in the area, leaving them weakened. I think I'll just stick with this lot. Spell Mastery. I think I'll go for Minoletta's Concussive Missiles. Rainbow Attack. Durance next. Let's get you in for some lore. This is another mastery. What do I cast often? Immunity to Dazed and Confused. Oh, that's what I should have put up. I don't need that often. Litany against minor afflictions. Immunity to Blinded, Hobbled, Frightened, Distracted, Dazed, Confused for 25 seconds. Oh, it's just one target. No, I don't need that. Devotions of the Faithful invokes a benediction of the priest god, imbuing allies in the area with... That might be pretty good. Let's do that. Devotion of the Faithful. Oh, and new spells. Hand of Wail and Woe. Symbol of Margren. I didn't get this last time I played. Emblazons the ground with the symbol of Margren, periodically causing burn damage to enemies in the area, leaving them blinded. Watchful Guardian. The priest's faith becomes a wellspring of indomitability for his or her allies. When an affected ally is knocked unconscious in battle, he or she will immediately be revived and have some endurance healed. That is pretty good. And Zawa? No, that's the helmet I have on him now. It's not the best, but let's do some athletics for you. Ooh, here we go. Swift Strikes. Nah, it's not that great. The Resonating Touch. 1 per encounter. Always per encounter is the best way to go. 10 raw damage per resonance. Resonance when dealt at least 10 damage. Monk strikes generate a sympathetic resonance between the monk and his or her target. Successive strikes increase the intensity of the resonance. At a time of the monk's choosing, the monk can cause the resonance to inflict devastating raw damage to anyone currently carrying them. That seems a little bit too weird to kind of pull off. 2 per encounter. If successful, prone for 3 seconds. Does crush damage. I've heard this is okay. This dichotomous soul thing, because you pretty much have 2 people fighting basically. No, not that good. Again, not that good. No. I think the dichotomous soul. Let's do it. Duration is 15 seconds, which is a bit not that good, but we'll see how it goes. We can always retrain, so it's not the end of the world. Okay, so The grass ripples and heaves like a flank of a breathing animal. Huh. Yep, that brings back some memories.
Certainly.
Okay, where to go now? Overall, this has been a great experience so far, doing this trip quest. I wonder if we'll find anyone else. I'm going to say, though, that the environments in this game are so well done.
There! I see it!
What do you see? Let's go. Spirit and the antelope has returned. The antelope sink from all those streams ago. An antelope stands gingerly on the muddy grass. Its fur is matted and stained dark around a deep oozing gash on its left haunch.
Have you come here to eat me?
Yep, we are deep in the trip now.
Yes, we have. Zawa, I think I understand what this all means now. Quick, we have to eat it!
Oh, this is brilliant. Zawa shakes his head at Haravias, who tips his head downwards sadly. Oh, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I have no beer.
We are not here to eat you, but you are easy prey. Is there nowhere you can hide?
The beasts of this place would catch my scent. I would not get far. But there may be a way I could be protected. A great tree grows to the north, whose sap has an odor that is repellent to predators. If you could draw this sap and rub it into my coat, I would be safe. I could heal and return to my herd.
Durance, you heal this animal.
I could heal this beast watcher, but not in the way that the monk would want.
Durance, you fuckhead.
I would ask neither kind of healing, as neither has any lesson to offer. Keep to your own trial, Durance, and I will keep to mine.
Fair point.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of interfering. I await the sound of broken bonds or a broken back. There is a music to both if you listen for it.
Oof. I'm really starting to hate Durance more and more as I play this game.
To the north, beside a cave, you will not find a larger tree in the forest. Galawain speed your steps.
That's another thing as well. Like, I haven't even picked the god that I'll be pledging my allegiance to in this game, because I stopped just before I did that quest. Like, I've been doing a White March ever since, you know. I still don't know what god Jazera would actually petition for. Like, I'm thinking maybe Berith.
Did you see where it went?
Yeah, it's just up here. Haggard man. The man's face is weather-beaten and his eyes are sunken deep into his skull. His body is scarcely more than a string of bones. He speaks with great effort, his voice dry and grainy.
Will you help me? Water. From the waterfall, please.
Why from the waterfall? Why not the pond? The man shakes his head sadly.
It appears to be the same in every way, but alas, it only makes my thirst greater. Only water from the waterfall will do. I wish it were not so.
I can carry you to the waterfall, then you can drink from the source.
I have tried, but the water eludes me. I open my mouth, and it falls only on either side. I place cupped hands beneath and pull them out dry.
Huh.
Only the first time was I able to taste it. Never have I tasted anything so pure.
I'm so sad I have no more beer. I should have gotten the full pack. I regret my past decisions.
Ever since, I have not been able to bring myself to leave. I wish only to taste it once more. That would be enough.
I'll see what can be done.
You will need this to collect the water. I will be forever grateful.
Okay, so we need to go to the waterfall now as well. We need to find a tree and a waterfall. Is this the tree? Okay, so now we need to find the waterfall. I don't know where that is. Is it around the corner? There it is. Is that waterfall going upwards? Or am I just not seeing that properly? That's definitely going upwards. I'm not crazy, right? How the hell do I get to that waterfall? I may get close to it through there. There we go. The water flows from a pool at your feet upward. Yeah, as the rocks above. As though time itself were flowing in reverse. It sounds like more like a stream than a waterfall. Gather some water from the water skin. You place the skin in the water and invert it, filling it steadily. Almost immediately, the water around your hand begins to roil and hiss. You feel an excruciating burning pain as the water begins to eat away the flesh of your skin. Ignore the pain. Ignore the pain! You hold the water skin in place despite the agony in your fingers. Skin gives way to flesh and then to bones, and you feel the water skin in your grip. It's an illusion, you realize, and with that realization the pain fades. From one moment to the next, the enchantment falls away, leaving an ordinary hand holding an ordinary and full water skin. When you go to replace the stopper, something strikes your hand from below. Something having been carried upward by the waterfall current, it drops into the pool. You reach down where it fell and withdraw a handful of jewels, pure and blue as the waterfall itself. Alright, let's so now we got the two things. We got the sap from the tree and the water skin for this guy. So let's see how this goes. Alright.
Have you had any success?
We were able to capture some water, yes.
Wonderful! I've waited so long.
His fingers tremble with excitement as he closes his hands around the stopper and slowly twists it. The stopper comes free suddenly and flies from his hand, propelled from a violent burst of steam.
Oh no. Oh.
He upends the water skin, holding it above his lips, but not a single droplet falls. He shakes it, twists it, squeezes it, all to no avail. The water is gone.
Given his history, I am surprised he had not foreseen this possibility. He longs not for the water, but for the experience of first tasting it. He is bound for disappointment.
Huh.
His suffering is very pretty, yet it feels empty. What value does it have if he refuses to learn from it? Can he not see that he seeks something that can never be recovered?
Ishapello sits meditating. He opens his eyes and looks at Zawa.
Hello, pupil. You come to me with a question, do you not?
He coughs, dry as desert sand. Zawa stares at him, his mouth quivering faintly.
Yes, Ishipilo. I have sought your wisdom across many lands, over many years. Are you here to grant it to me?
Yes, pupil. I am here for you.
Zawa nods, draws a deep breath.
Our people are captives of the Ketchmotl. I need to know the secrets of the Anitle.
Of course. The answer has been with you the whole time, pupil. You are blind not to...
Ishapello breaks into a coughing fit. As he coughs harder, granules of dust fly from his mouth in plumes. I love that. The answer was with you all along.
Master, please. I cannot hear you.
Zawa steadies him by the shoulders, but Ishipillo's cough only worsens. Dust pours from his lips by the mouthful.
Answer me!
Zawa's hands tighten around Ishipillo's frail body. He shakes Ishipillo, but the coughing continues. He shakes him again, and in Zawa's hands, Ishipillo turns to dust. It scatters instantly to the winds. Oh man. Zawa looks to the dust in his hands, holding them cupped as if to preserve some vital piece of his master's wisdom. Despite his best efforts, the winds carry off the remains, leaving him with nothing. He frowns.
Even after his death, I have always felt that when the time was right, Ishipillo would find a way to teach me his secret. And yet here we are on his trail, and his knowledge is no less a mystery to me. Is this what I am meant to see? That his teachings will always be beyond me?
Well, that doesn't necessarily communicate that his teachings were beyond him. It's just that his teachings are not the thing that he needs. He needs to rely on his own wisdom rather than relying on other people to teach him what he needs to do. Perhaps it's time to let them go. We aren't done here yet. There is more to the Deccan than Ishipillo's teachings. There's a lot of spelling errors and stuff. Not a lot. I've noticed two problems with this. There's the time when there's the dialogue that came from him when it came to White March, like to introduce his quest. Most of his dialogue is voiced. So to have that one section that was like unvoiced kind of speaks to me that, oh yeah, like, you know, we kind of forgot how we have to introduce this quest for him, so they just had to put the dialogue in. Basically, they couldn't get the voice actor back to do the lines. I mean, that's just me spitballing, but still. There is more to the Deccan than Ishipillo's teachings. We're not done here yet. There must be something more worth learning here. I think that's it. There is more to the Deccan than Ishipillo's teachings.
You speak truly, but his knowledge is the difference between a free Deccan and an enslaved Deccan. Zawa cannot help but seek it.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Let's go help the antelope. Can't believe the antelope made another appearance. Ooh, what the... We were too late.
We are too late. The wolves have come. It was a mistake to leave the animal here, unprotected.
We could not have stayed forever. It was bound to die. We might have protected it for a while longer. We should not have left it. What we did, we thought, would give the greatest chance of survival.
That is difficult to accept. In my heart, it feels as though there was more we could have done.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've mentioned this before, Sync, but I actually, like, if I was asked directly, like, what is your spiritual beliefs, I would say I would be a Zen Buddhist. I believe a lot in, like, out of all the things that I've learned throughout life, philosophy, certain religious things, like, Zen Buddhism is the one thing that has really appealed to me as something that has given me the most valuable lessons in life. And the things that you're talking about are actually called they're called Zen koans, and that's the stuff where you get stuff like, Master, I come to you to learn the meaning of silence. And and the master goes, you have not learned the meaning of silence. He goes, why not? And he goes, because you are still talking. These Zen koans are always about, like, trying to teach a lesson, and you're right, it's about not trying to learn it from a teacher, but more or less learn it from within. And I think this kind of stems to a lot of Socratic dialogue. If you're not aware, Socratic dialogue is when Socrates did stuff where it was like, a lot of the philosophical teachings that he tried to bestow were actually done in a dialogue. where people would be like, you know, I believe this, and the other person would be like, well, no, I don't believe that. Here's my argument. And they would go back and forth, and there would never really be an answer. There would never really be some sort of clarifying thing of like, okay, this is the principle that we need to follow, but the conversation itself allowed whoever was reading it to glean something that mattered to them from it. It seems to be a bit of a prevailing thing in a lot of older philosophy. We're talking Greek and older Oriental stuff, where it was like trying to teach the lesson not by lecturing it, but more or less providing the scenario for people to come to their own conclusion over it. And I think whoever wrote Zawa and all of his related quest stuff was heavily inspired by all that sort of stuff. That's my little thing to talk about.
In the end, though, the wolves would have come. They can smell weakness from great distances. We may have been bound for failure from the start.
Oh, Chieftain, that name. An unusually tall man with brown leathery skin and a regal carriage bows to Zawa.
Chief Aurelia.
Uhuilia.
Why are you here?
I come on behalf of the catch model to pay you tribute, great chieftain.
Tendons bulge at the sides of Zawa's neck, and his fists are clenched. For the first time since you met him, he appears on the brink of losing control. He speaks through gritted teeth.
You have come to see if I am ready to protect my people.
The catch model chieftain smiles, bearing glistening teeth.
Well, are you?
Ooh. Oh, they all became... Oh, okay. This is happening. Okay, let's get you to jump in there. How long... There we go. Ooh, that took out a lot of people. Nah, that's alright. Sync. You're doing your own thing with the writing, and also we're on like a 15-second delay, I think, so that's totally fine. Ooh, we annihilated these guys.
Uh-huh.
Alright. Well, Zawa contemplates the body of his enemy.
When the catch model chieftain saw me, he knew I was not prepared to resist him. If I had been more convincing, I have always believed they would not have attacked.
So the animal and the wolf metaphor is talking about his own experience with defending his people. So yeah, as I continue to play this game, I find it difficult to kind of rein in what I need to talk about, because we're playing through Zawa's quest here, and it's like, it's hard to say to myself, I cannot talk about this character because I don't have the time. Like, what this character is portraying is so important. Not just because of philosophical stuff or anything like that, but it's talking about... It's how companions can be done so well. Companion characters in RPGs can be done so well. If you think about... Let's talk about... one that's very... recalls a lot for me is Dragon Age Origins. So in Dragon Age Origins, you have a bunch of side quests for your companion characters, and the one in particular that recalls to me is oh my god, I just forgot his name. Let me quickly look it up so I can continue talking about this. But it's one of the first characters that you come across. He's a very chatty character, and he's a Grey Warden like you. Alistair, that's it. So when you meet Alistair and stuff, you know, he's all, like, you find out he's like the son of a king and a bastard son and all this sort of stuff. Then eventually you get a quest where it's like, oh no, I've gone to check up on my sister and my blood sister, like the adoptive sister, his stepsister basically. And I think there's something where like she gets angry at him, and like he goes, oh, I don't know what to do because, like, you know, supposedly that they're like my family I grew up with and stuff. And the player goes, oh, you know, well, you can decide now whether or not you want to belong to your stepsister, to belong to the family you grew up with, or decide on, you know, the family that is right for you. And it always struck me as odd that the playable character has so much of a powerful influence in this character's arc to decide whether or not, yeah, you should side with one family or the other. Because, I don't know, if anyone really, realistically, took upon other people's advice like that, that would feel very out of place. Like, it would be like, for example, for myself, if I went to a friend and said, look, I'm thinking about moving away from Perth. What do you think I should do? And you have, like, the two dialogue options of, like, move away from Perth or stay in Perth, you know, and you get to decide that, and ultimately decide that person's fate. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like that would be a very actual thing that would happen. Same goes for RPGs. Like, in all of these quests and Pillars of Eternity, we have people who come to you for advice, but they don't come to you to go, tell me what to do, you know? It's always stuck there struggling with things. They're like, I mean, like, I want to do this, but I feel this, you know? And you go, well, if you feel this, then go for it. It's far more realistic and far more immersive for the player to help the companion to decide things that they want to believe in, or to teach them what their version of the truth is in their particular quest. I think that's why the companion quests in this game are just so fascinating, and they are really like they are the highest standard, and something that every CRPG should be striving to try and recreate in their own game. Alright, if I had been more convincing, I'd have always believed they'd have not attacked. They would have come for you sooner or later? No. If you could have mastered Eschapelo's teachings, they might have left you alone? Nope. Agreed. A better deception might have kept you safe. It's impossible to know. But deception is not truth. Even if you talked, if they would have smelled it anyway. You would have needed to been able to master Eschapelo's teachings, so you were doomed from the start, or at least find some sort of truth for yourself. They would have come for you sooner or later. Maybe that one is the right one.
Zawa sees this now.
Okay.
This was the life of the Takan. We lived knowing that one day the wolves would come.
Exactly. That's all about your beliefs. You sleep in mass graves so that you can understand death. You have to understand that this would have happened eventually, no matter what.
And finally, the day came when we were wounded and could not escape them.
Yeah, right? Like, you know, having the ability to just decide what your characters are going to do, I think that's not really the best way for a player to interact with an NPC, or at least a companion in their party, because it just doesn't feel right, you know? And I get that some RPG writers do something where it's like, oh, of course that would be, you know, that would be the course of action because they believe this person is the special one, you know? Like, you know, if a Grey Warden says to you, like, I think you should do this, and you go, you know what, I'm going to take this guy's advice because he's a Grey Warden, it's like, that doesn't even really apply across the board. Like, we don't really kind of, like, in some instances, like, for example, right, if someone came to me and was like, oh, what blood group will my child have? And I said to them, well, you know, we draw out this square and put this blood group here, blood group there, two alleles of the mother and one for the mother, one for the father, plotted across. All right, it seems like your kid has 25% chance of having X blood group. From someone who studied genetics, you can go, okay, they've studied genetics, therefore, like, oh, I'll take that person's advice. But from someone who's just a generic hero, or, like, you know, special one, to be like, you know what, this person is a special one, so therefore I'm going to believe him. It's like, no, a lot of people have to have investment in the skills of that person, or some sort of, like, say, for example, if we went to Zawa and we were like, oh, you know, like, teach me the ways of, you know, meditation, and they said, look, you should do this for meditation, we would be like, yeah, you know what, yeah. But if we went to, say, Aloth, and said, like, hey, can you teach me meditation? He goes, oh, I think you should do this. There would be some nugget of saying to ourselves, maybe they don't fully understand what they're talking about here. So it makes sense that as a player, you don't have complete control over your companions. They will come to their own senses about whatever trial that they're going through. Zawa shakes his head and smiles bitterly.
I have been caught in a snare, worrying over things that could not be changed. These visions shame me with their truths. Ishapilo never warned me of this, but I should have seen it sooner. I have become a slave to knowledge I will never learn. I have denied all my failures.
And again, we're seeing more of this Eastern philosophy of letting go of the past. You know, it reminds me a lot of when I was really into Alan Watts, and he talks about how, like, the only moment that matters is now, because the past cannot be changed and the future causes anxiety, you know? And talking about how, like, I have become a slave to knowledge that I will never learn. I think that's quite relevant for me, actually. You know, like, I always think about, like, what if I did this? You know, what if I studied something else other than genetics? Yeah. Oh, cool. You're another Alan Watts fan. That's good. But yeah, like, having this whole thing for myself. Sorry, I haven't drunken in a while, so I'm feeling quite tipsy, to say the least. You know, the whole thing of slave to knowledge you'll never learn. Stuff like, you know, what if I studied writing instead? What if I did a creative writing degree? What if I didn't listen to people? Because when I wanted to do uni, they were like, oh, just do something sciencey because you're most likely to get a job from it. And like, but I want to do creative writing. Like, that's my passion. That's what my soul thirsts for. But they're like, oh, but you won't get a job from it. So I didn't do it. But I always think about that pretty much every single day of like, what if I did creative writing? And it's like, you know, what if I just, you know, it's something I'll never know. So why am I a slave to knowledge that I'll never learn? It's pretty deep. Sorry, I am quite tipsy. I think the Fat Yak is actually, what is it? It's like 2 point something standard drinks. Anyway.
Yet, I feel no different, no freer than I was. There is something I am missing, even now.
Poor Zawa. Oh, so we got the Adra, the white Adra. Oh.
This may be our answer. Let us see what has been uncovered.
Okay. Let's go.
Yes?
Oh, the dead people drop things.
Certainly.
Let's explore that island. So there's one last thing for us to one last thing for Zawa to come to. Oh, hello.
You must come with me at once.
Oh.
Zawa, you should not be here. If you are caught, they will execute you, and they will not fail twice.
I do not care about my life, Namaltia. I come to liberate the Takan. We will unite and revolt.
And who will you unite? Our men are dead or broken. Their labors were too cruel. Our women are mothers to catch model children now.
That's so... I guess it is, it's pretty true. I mean, once they start bearing the enemy's children, like, can you really save them anymore?
The Takan live only in your mind.
Zawa stands in silence, staring where the apparitions have been. Who was that woman?
She was a Nalpazga warrior, eldest daughter of the shaman. She would have been, the wife of the Takan chieftain, if the Takan had not fallen.
What was that about?
An argument Zawa had with someone once. Nothing came of it.
Did that really happen?
Some years ago, Zawa considered that he might never learn Ishipilo's secret. But he had vowed to return to his people. And so he did. He journeyed to Kachmotl, and while their warriors were off raiding, he spoke to the surviving Takan he found there.
Oh, no way. You never told me. For once, Zawa seems unable to meet your gaze.
Zawa has never spoken of it to anyone.
His face is tense, his skin lacking its usual smoothness. He looks old.
He waited too long in returning. If there was a time to liberate his people, it passed long ago, while he searched for the secret of the Anitle.
Why'd you continue to search if you knew you'd failed? Zawa is quiet a moment.
Ishipilo's knowledge was the one last thing of Takan that might have been recovered. But I see now that I was caught in a snare. The gem, the antelope, the waterfall. Their lessons were not about Ishipilo's secrets. They were about my vow to return to the Takan.
He is quiet again. His eyes search the ground, then seem to fix on something. You look down but see only a small worm burrowing into the earth near his feet. He stares in that direction for a time, then slowly he looks up at you.
The time of my people has ended. There is nothing more I can do for them.
The Takan lived their time and made their mark on the world. They need nothing more from you. What you do from here on out is for your soul alone. You are the last of the Takan. What you do now, you do in their memory. The culture of the Takan and their Nalpazga warriors still exists within you. You can still carry it forward. I'm gonna say that.
Their time on Aora was too brief. There is much the rest of the world might have learned from them. Much that I might yet share.
Yeah. Zawa looks around and smiles flatly.
The dream fades around us. I believe it is time to return.
The brilliant colors around you seem to dull. Shifting objects settle to their true forms. Zawa appears the same as he always has. The same shredded skin. The same fluid posture. Only the look in his eyes has changed. He became the Anitle! Oh, yes! What's it do? When a Nalpazga warrior has learned to free himself from the snares that root him to the material world, he is said to become the Anitle. Many of his gifts the Anitle possesses a preternatural understanding of the suffering of all human beings. and from that insight can divine an opponent's intentions and react to them before their opponent has even put them into effect. As a result, they know exactly where and when to strike, and you can do so confidently at great speed. Oh, it's great!
Yes.
I'm so happy! Oh, Zawa! You did it! You found inner enlightenment!
Yes.
Oh, it brings a tear to my eye.
Certainly.
Alright, let's actually, I'm just gonna make sure that I did that properly. Did I save the trip? Tripping balls. It's right there, so it's all good. After tripping balls. He did. He totally deserved this. It's probably one of, like, in terms of companion quests I've ever done, that's definitely in the top 5. Like, I think, obviously you've played Outer Worlds. You did Vicar Max's quest. Very similar sort of deal, right? You know, it's always interesting whenever you have a character that goes into some sort of psychedelic trip, because that's a very primal thing for humans, is that, you know, the usage of psychedelics and all that sort of stuff is in a way a form of a trial. In I think it's people in the, I don't want to be generic, but there is a group of people in the Amazon, I believe, that, you know, use ayahuasca as like a passage of adulthood, basically, to kind of go, here you go, take it, and you know, you become a man or a woman afterwards. That's basically what I remember. I might be wrong, but I think a lot of storytelling does come back to, like, imbibing something to then go on a journey to then come out of it as something different. I think that obviously it's not used as much anymore. But I think that's because, like, you know, Western society is kind of like, oh no, we can't use drugs to, like, symbolize people's journeys. That means people will do drugs or some shit. But I think it's always been with us, really. It's like when, you know, growing up and stuff, like, you know, everyone says, like, oh, the first time I did X drug, or the first time I drank, or there's always these initiation things of imbibing something because it gives us an experience. Okay, so we're back at the Abbey. I don't know if I should continue with this. I'm pretty sure
Even our visitor is to be turned away, he said.
What interest would our quarters hold?
Our quarters aren't the worry. It's our brothers and sisters below.
Yeah, that's the thing I have, is, like, you know, meth. Meth is a huge problem, and I've seen people on it, and I do not see how that could ever be legalized or anything. It doesn't do anything to help. It just gives you that temporary sort of high, and then that's it, and it just ruins your life. Heroin, the same deal, but, like, weed and stuff, like, doesn't hurt anyone, really. It can make you, like, late for work and shit. And of course it's a gateway thing, but by itself, in isolation, like, I don't see really what the problem is. And here in Australia, like, there's a lot of
You look pale, sister.
Ooh.
Find someone to take your place. I'll stand watch.
I'd hoped I was over this illness, but clearly not. I shall take your advice.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, of course, like, you know, I've drunken tonight, but, you know, I've drunken 2 stubbies, and then that's it. Like, I don't need to drink anymore. I feel perfectly fine after that. Like, tobacco, like, it really does, like, destroy a lot of your body, and, like, that's legal. you know, and I don't know if you know too much, but here in Australia, we actually have like a huge tax on cigarettes, and they are really, really expensive. For example, right, so to get I think it's like a 20 pack or something, it costs like 40 Australian dollars or 35 Australian dollars or some shit, which is crazy. I've talked to a lot of smokers about this. I'm like, is it like really expensive to smoke? They're like, yes, it takes up like 20% of my like weekly budget. I'm like, that's crazy, you know? Crazy to think about like that. I think I've explored everything on this map. It's very interesting how we're seeing like the skeleton throughout here. I think that must be Abaddon, because I remember there's some sort of story where like Abaddon threw himself from the heavens to save Ondra or something. I don't remember the exact story, but I think this is Abaddon's skeleton here. So I'm gonna try and... Oh, that's right, I need to go through here. With before, that your art, did you send that to me through Discord? I haven't checked yet. Oh yeah. Yeah, because you said you send it through live chat, but I haven't received it. So yeah, feel free to send it to the Discord if you feel comfortable with that instead. So yeah, see there's like, you know, you have the rib cage up here and like the hand and everything. Oh, you did? Yeah, no worries. It's 11:55. I'm not feeling too tired, but yeah. Let's see what else I can do, and maybe like there's some sort of small thing I can do. Maybe going on with the rest of it's gonna... Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. Have I got anything to do here? Oh. Whoops. That was a mistake. Anyway. Yeah, no, cheers. Just curious, really. Yeah, the guy that I usually go to for my art, his name is Bruno Nascimento. He did my my new GriffinMuffin logo, the thumbnail art for my Disco Elysium. He did that. He did the background, and he did the little figure of me as Harry, separate, because yeah, I wanted to play around with it and stuff. And he did one for me recently, where he actually drew me as Adair, I should say, and that will be used in the next one. Yeah, I can give you a link to his stuff. I'm not sure if he has an art station. I think mainly he's Twitter as well, but I'll just Google his name, see what comes up. That is the wrong Bruno Nascimento. He is not a Brazilian footballer, as far as I know. Artist. He has a Facebook. Okay, he has an Insta. So I'll link that to you on Discord. What else have we got? So he has an Insta. I think it's just the Insta that he has, and he mainly does Twitter. So I'll link it in chat as well, because I know people can view it after this. So for anyone watching after, that's the guy that I go to for most of my art. That's his Instagram there. He's a great guy. Very professional. Always keeps me up to date with everything that happens with any commission I do. Like, he even says stuff like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't." Like, if there was one time where like it was like the beginning of the pandemic, and he was like, "Sorry, I haven't got around to doing this one thing. Been a bit stressed." I'm like, "Totally understand, man. It's all good." And you know, he communicates that sort of thing. He says, "Oh, you know, this and that." Quite speedy with some of the stuff that, like, I would say, "Oh, could you do this for this thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." I love his style, and I also like how he's flexible. Like, I worked with a lot of artists in the past, and you know, sometimes it's hard for them to...
Wow. So it doesn't even bother you that most of your people died.
Then Alpaska learned to embrace death.
And the remaining few were enslaved?
As long as the spirit is free, bonds of the flesh do us no harm.
You've got to tell me how you do it.
I will show you. Come, let us find a mass grave to sleep in.
Brilliant, Zawa. I'm so happy he's resolved like the issues that he's had. Yeah, I was saying something about Bruno. Yeah, he has a very flexible art style. Like, when I came to him for my logo, I'm like, "Look, I really want you to just kind of redesign the old one." And he was like, "Oh, you know, I have these other ideas," and he threw them at me, and I'm like, they were not like the same thing, just done on a different angle or something. They were actually completely different styles, and I really appreciated that. And like for the Disco Elysium thing, I was like, "Hey, like, can you do this particular style?" And I gave him a reference image, and he kind of brought his own style and brought the style from the reference image and put it into there. And I always found that really impressive.
I hope you've had some luck, and do take care with that device. It has a few rather delicate components.
I didn't find any order puzzles, but I did find this.
What? So it works? What a day! But why these gems? I didn't think the device would be able to pick up inert Audra. Fascinating. I have to study this further, but all the same, it worked! At last, a breakthrough! With that Audra to work from, I can refine the enchantments. We'll be digging up iron, gold, Audra, all of it! This is going to change everything. Oh, and I won't leave you empty-handed, of course. Here, I had this set aside for supplies, but I don't think I'll be staying in Stalwart much longer. I won't forget all you've done for me. They'll hear about this back home, I promise you. Who knows? Perhaps they'll name the next battery after you.
Okay. Oh? Yeah, it's nearing 12 o'clock. Probably a good time to call it. It's been an interesting stream. Like, I thought I'd be really doing more of the main story. But then at the last minute, I was like, "Oh, right, Zawa's quest. I completely forgot about it." So I did all the stuff, and I think we all had fun. And people who are watching this after, they'll be having some fun too, most likely. I don't know what to call this stream. I'm thinking of calling it like something like the Antelope Returns or something, or like Trippin' Balls. But Trippin' Balls might be flagged by YouTube, maybe. I'll think of something, but definitely can have a lot of inspiration for it definitely has some inspiration for the making a title for this. Again, Sync, thanks for coming along and staying for the stream. Always great to have a chat. Any updates? Been working really hard on the Pillars of Eternity script. I talk with another YouTuber, Shalashashka. He is a really good guy for giving me feedback. He's a teacher, so it's always helpful to, like, you know, give someone like a piece of work and they go, and he's very concise and just goes, "This is good, but you need to change this, but overall this." and it's so succinct, and it just really helps me go, okay, this is what I need to do with this particular part of the script and stuff. And also, he's extremely knowledgeable, so I've been really grateful for his help. I even gave him a script advisor credit in my last video because there was so much like stuff to do with, say, when I was talking about Soviet wave and American futurism and stuff. I was like, should I put American futurism in? And he's like, you don't really need to mention it. Maybe like make a mention of it, but you don't need to make a whole section about it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he's a good guy. He's been helping me out. The video is a little bit far off because lockdown is still happening in Melbourne. It's going to be alleviated soon. So there's certain things I need in order to make sure that when I'm going to do live action recording of myself with my camera to do certain bits, because I'm starting to get sick of just having game footage over everything. So I want to make it more video SAE and have me like sitting at the desk, like probably have it like the camera over there facing here, and just, you know, I'll be chatting to it and stuff like that, and have interspersed game footage stuff. Yeah, this DLC is still going. Sam Blips. I did Zawa's quest, so if you want to rewatch this later, I highly recommend it, because Zawa's quest, who is this guy?
Zawa is ready.
Zawa is ready. We just did his companion quest, and we just completed it like 15 minutes ago. So if you want to rewatch it, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. We get kind of deep with some of the philosophical stuff that it suggests. Yeah, so with the video, it's a little bit far off. I'm about 10% of the way, 20% of the way done. It's just a bit of a slow writing process, because I find myself going, okay, I'm talking about this, but do I need to talk about it? And eventually I go, I don't need to talk about this. Like, I need to talk about the narrative. I need to talk about structure, talk about why the writers did this and stuff like this. And I just have to delete like an hour's worth of writing to be like, okay, I can't talk about this. I've gone off on a tangent. And that's the thing with my videos. They take a long time because I am a perfectionist when it comes to the script. Like, when it comes to the video editing, I'm like, oh, I play around with stuff. I'm not too committed. But yeah, it's going to be a slow thing. I don't know when the video will be released. I'm hoping by the end of this year, but I'm not going to stress out too much. I'm happy with my quiet channel, so, you know, whatever. Yeah, like, I'm a bit worried about my sound setup as well, because I got, like, the Yeti mic here, but, I got a new mic, which I'll be doing for, like, non-camera stuff. I'll see how that goes. I'll probably still use the Yeti mic for when I use my phone. I'll just be using my Google Pixel to do the recording, which is still a good camera, so that'll be fine. Yeah, perfectionism is okay. I think I allow myself to be perfectionist when it comes to the writing and the script, because that's the thing, that it's the skeleton of the whole thing. So if I'm talking, like, I look onto my other videos, and there's bits in it that I'm just so, like, gutted over, because it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why'd I talk about that? And it's because, like, I rushed it, or because I didn't think thoroughly on it, you know? So I've learned my lesson, so to speak. Have you thought about doing topics? I have, honestly, I have. I've thought about doing stuff like, you know, quest design. But the main thing that stops me is I have to do research, like quite a bit of research. And what happens is I go, okay, I haven't played that game that says, oh, this quest design in this game is really good. So then I'm incentivized to go, I'm going to play that game to learn more about quest design. And I just don't have the time. That's why I like focusing on particular games, because it's like I get to the game, I play the game, and then after that, I get to work on doing a video about it. And like, yeah, occasionally, like for Disco Elysium, like I had to find out more about Planescape Torment, because apparently, like, you know, a lot of people go, oh, if you like Disco Elysium, like you'd like Planescape Torment. Definitely, Planescape Torment is on my list, but even in itself, like that's going to be like another 80 hours or so of playing that game, I reckon. So, it is a little bit daunting to like even think about that. But back to your question about doing like one big essay on like yeah, that's exactly the problem, is like you have to like, because it's also like you can play the game right, but then like what if the game doesn't give you anything of substance to be like, oh, but this game doesn't have good quest design, it was just recommended it to me, and I'm like, you know, like there's been other things before. It was when I was doing the Pillars of Eternity 2 breakdown, I was like, oh, maybe I should like, you know, look into stuff to do with, I think it was Dragon Age Origins, because I mentioned something where I'm like, oh, I should probably look into that. And like, I installed the game, and I was about to play it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm about to start playing Dragon Age Origins, which is a very long game, and I haven't even finished the script for this fucking other video I'm doing. And I just kind of felt like, look, there's a small part of me that gets worried that like people in the comments would be like, oh, but you should have talked about this game. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry that I don't have a hyperbolic time chamber like fucking Kakarot from Dragon Ball Z to just go into there and just play every single game possible to come out and be like, alright, I've now played like 100 hours worth of other games that I can now comment on this game. And it's also one thing that I've kind of walked away with as well, is that you can't, well, you can, but it's better, I should say, if you can talk about the game without having to refer to other games heavily. Like, of course you should refer to other games, because you have to go like, oh, okay, so this thing that happens in this game...
Zawa is ready.
Right, and you contrast it. Like, for Pillars of Eternity, I'm going to talk about Baldur's Gate 2. But the thing that I'm doing there is I'm only referring to, like, the opening bit of Baldur's Gate. So it's not going to be something where I'm going to be deep diving into Baldur's Gate 2 to explain Pillars of Eternity. It's just going to be like, here's the intro to Baldur's Gate 2. See this, and then we see it in Pillars, right? So that kind of makes it go... So the viewer kind of goes, okay, I see what they're talking about, without having to kind of go off on another track. Yeah, I think that's what I just talked about. Sync. I think we're on the same wavelength there a little bit. How like yeah, not everything has to be referential. You know, I think it's...
I'm here.
Having to constantly refer to other things to explain your points can be a bit cumbersome. And even in like regular essays, like if you refer to too many things, like your marker will probably be like, you're giving too many examples, like you need to stick to your actual points you're making.
Yes?
Yeah, that's
Need
exactly
something?
the thing, right? So
What?
I know we're all kind of in a bit of a chat at the moment, and the stream should have ended like 10 minutes ago. But I did want to say what you're talking about, Sam Blips, which is this whole thing of like, you know, your opinion is only valid if you are more, if you're more seasoned somehow. You know, that you've like you have a vast array of like playing all these other games, and you have this weighted opinion of like, I'm an expert, guys. I've played lots of these sort of games, and therefore this, you know. I found this a lot when I was doing World of Warcraft content, and I would ask people on like Facebook groups and Reddits and stuff of like, you know, I think this about this topic, and the one thing that usually came back to me was like, your opinion's not valid because you haven't played for years. And I'm like, don't I have then a unique opinion? You know, I know I'm not if I talk about, say, I don't know, some sort of like inner mechanics of how the loot system works, like how the vertical loot system works in WoW, maybe my opinion's not that valid because I haven't played the game for long enough to compare different Oh. Apparently YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. If you're having any issues with that, I apologize. It says apparently like we'll experience buffering. But anyway, yeah, I experienced that a lot with WoW, and like that's why I kind of started to veer away from doing WoW content, because it's just like, okay, it just seems like people just look at my content and they're like, oh, this guy's a loser because he hasn't played since Pandaria, or like, oh man, he only quit when it was vanilla, so he doesn't know anything and stuff. I'm like, I'm still playing the game. I'm still analyzing it. Like, isn't that worth enough? And apparently it's not, so. Yeah. And honestly, like, with the whole, you know, fear of referencing other things and being like, you know, maybe people won't take my content seriously and stuff. I mean, every person that does an essay always approaches it with their own unique life experiences and their biases and stuff. So, like, having to try and, like, you know, feel that you have to meet other people's expectations is kind of the reason why, like, YouTube kind of stresses other creators out, because they feel they have to meet certain requirements to be like, I have to make X videos per week, I have to make them this long, I can't have this in it, I can't have this, I have to have this, it has to be relevant, all this sort of stuff, right? And that stifles, like, what you can actually produce. So if you just go, look, I'm me, I feel this, so I'll research this, or I'm making a point here, so I need to refer to this, then yeah, you know. And also at the same time, Sam Blips, like with stuff like where you're referencing other games, it don't feel too bad if you have to look up a video essay based on that game. But it's also important to make sure you don't blatantly plagiarize them and be like, oh yeah, that same topic, that same thing that guy talked about, I'm just going to put it in my video essay, because, you know, there's plenty of examples on YouTube showing how one person's part in essays work into others. I think the most notable example is the H-Bomber guy, and how someone stole his Dark Souls video essay and just made it again, basically, you know. But yeah, a little bit of a tangent there, but I hope that answers your kind of queries about, you know, feeling like you have to play other games so that, well, play like other games in a genre so that you can talk about one other game. Yeah, I hope that helps. By rage bait channels, do you mean stuff like what's his name? Clean Prince Gaming? Is that the guy? He does his channel is all about, like, you know, oh my god, I think that he's the guy that invented the phrase this game murdered stuff. Or like something did something completely different, or oh no, that's right, he invented the phrase of that game wasn't killed, it was murdered. That's his thing, I think. He coined that phrase with a lot of his thumbnails and stuff. I remember Indigo Gaming and Shal Shashka and myself having a bit of a laugh about it at one point, I think. I think is that what you meant by rage bait channels? There's some other guys too, I forget their names. I won't look it up. What time is it? 12:15. It's fine, I'm not feeling too sleepy. Oh, the quartering. Oh, fucking hell, yeah. I hate that guy so much. It's not just because of the shit he spews. Like, I respect when I can respect when people have different other when they have different opinions and stuff, and I mean that's how life works, basically. You know, people have different opinions and you have to accept it. But it's the fact that he'll be like, oh my god, they did this for this particular thing, and he'll read the article directly talking about it, but he'll deliberately misquote it and not read it properly and be like, see, this is what they're doing. And I'm just sitting there like, I've watched a couple of his videos just like out of morbid curiosity, and I'm like, but you didn't even you didn't read the article. You skipped over this one line that completely refutes your entire point. Seems convenient. And there was a thing with him recently where, not recently, it was a few months ago, when they published how Cyberpunk will have like customizable genitals, and he jumped on. He's like, oh my god, they're going to destroy gender. I'm like, oh my god, get fucked. But yeah. Yeah, that's the thing as well, is like a lot of that community of people who make like hate content, is the only term you can really call it. They admit that their whole business plan is to just incite people to just click onto them and be like, oh my god, this angry thing you should be angry about. By the way, guys, I have a Patreon, and if you want to see me keep on producing this stuff, give me money, basically. And it works, you know? It works for a whole bunch of this other stuff. It's crazy. Well, yeah, it's social media for you, I guess. Okay. I think I've talked enough. I'm starting to kind of talk myself to sleep a little bit. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna call it. Thank you for that 15 or so extra minutes of just chatting along. Yeah, so also one thing I wanted to say also, after this series is done, the whole Pillars of Eternity stream is done, I will be moving to Twitch. If that's an issue, let me know. I might try and figure out something where I'll record the stream while, actually, I won't be able to do that because my CPU is shit. But, yeah, just let me know if that's an issue, and I'll consider it if I decide to move over to Twitch or not. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'll keep on working on the script. Probably play a little bit in the meantime. I'll let you guys know what happens. Alright. Yeah, I should probably call it. Yeah, where is it? Can't find it. There it is. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you probably next week. Alright.